Hello and welcome to episode 1435 of The Sleeper and the Bust. It is Friday, July 18th. I'm your host, Paul Sporer, joined this afternoon by Justin Mason. My brain and mouth went to say September.
I wish it was September.
I'll cop to it.
Yeah, I wish it was. Yeah,
I don't yet. I'm still ready for one more big crush here in baseball, and then we're gonna have to give it up. Football's gonna take over soon, and then the season will be over before we know it. But there's still a lot to go, and there's a ton of two-start pitchers to get into for next week, many of whom are, worthy of some discussion here, whether it's in all formats or shallow versus deep, type of discussions. Not as many aces, Justin, going as I would have thought, with a lot of guys not going this weekend either. I would have thought that they were going to be lined up for Monday, but you brought up an interesting point that they're not necessarily playing for Monday, because a two-start week in real life doesn't mean anything. They don't care. But you brought up how they're probably playing to some schedules and mapping it out that way, regardless of if the ace gets, an extra 4 days right now. If they're facing the Dodgers in 4 days, it makes sense to hold that guy. And you got burned by that with Robbie Ray, right?
Yeah. Robbie Ray was originally scheduled to have a two-start starting Monday, and then they switched it, and I didn't notice it in time, and my lineup got locked. So, just brutal. Is what it is. Like, at least I was telling you, like, in that league, it's Tout Wars, where like I have 72 of the 75 pitching points already. So like I don't really need him.
Yeah, you're not dying like with every start, but it's just a bummer. But yeah, so that does make a ton of sense that teams would actually just map out against the schedule as opposed to just get your aces right back immediately. So to that end, we end up with a ton of names, and we just need to dive into them because I think a lot are going to foster some big discussions. And I think I mentioned it last time, but this guy's still on this list right now. Zac Gallen needs to be talked about. He is far from a set it and forget it, must start type of guy. He gets the sweet and sour combo. Unfortunately, it goes sour sweet. It's Houston and then at Pittsburgh. And then, of course, we always have that concern about any little thing happening and costing us the sweet start at the end. Now, there's no weather concerns or anything like that.
Not as concerned about it.
It would just be like day skippage or something like that. That's the only thing that can happen. I feel confident he's going to get this. And as such, I'm a little bit open to Gallen here, even though Houston is scary. Where do you come out with Gallen in, and what formats would you consider him?
I think I'm only really considering him in a 15. I think in a 12, it's borderline if you really don't have any other good options. The thing about it is, and you kind of already alluded to it, there's a lot of names on this list.
Right. So you can go a lot of different paths.
You just don't know what you're going to get from Gallen. I thought he added a new pitch recently. It seemed to be working. He had, 2 games with 9+ strikeouts, 7 innings with 10 strikeouts against the Giants, and then 6 innings with 9 strikeouts versus the Padres. And then he gets bombed out by the Angels, which can happen, right? The Angels are a better offense than I think a lot of people give them credit to be, but like still like that's a matchup he should go in and do well in. So I'm a little bit tentative on this one with that Houston start at the beginning of the week.
Well, let me break your brain real quick here.
Yeah.
You mentioned that he got smoked by the Angels. Zac Gallen did. This is a trend. All of his worst starts are against garbage teams. Now, the one at Colorado, yes, they're a garbage team, so they count in the sub 500. But going to Colorado is always,
he got
crazy
beat
stuff
by Colorado in Arizona.
But
too, though.
They beat him in Arizona. Baltimore's okay. They're a good team.
Yeah,
the Angels, that you don't expect to get smoked by the Angels, even though we respect them for their homers. The White Sox trounced him. Yeah. Pittsburgh trounced him. Dodgers and Cubs, those make sense. But by game score, 5 of his 6 worst games are against garbage teams.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? Because then his best game scores and his best starts are against good teams.
I think he's just an unreliable guy. Like, you just don't know what you're going to
get. Do you
get.
almost have – now, I don't want to play – I don't know how much to play into a split like that, because then I'm not like I want the Houston start and not the Pittsburgh. I still would rather have Gallen at Pittsburgh.
Because, I mean, he smoked, Atlanta. He's beaten some bad teams too, but he's also been smoked by Pittsburgh. So
the data's heavy. Now these are small samples when you parse up a partial season here. It's 73 innings against plus 500 teams, 42 innings against sub 500. So both of those are small samples, but it's 8.14 ERA, 169 whip against the trash teams, 3.82 ERA, 119 whip for Zac Gallen against the good teams. again, I don't know what to make of that. I don't think that that's something that you should overly rely on. But I'm looking, and the skills are there too. 2.8 strikeout to walk ratio against the good teams, 1.9 against the bad teams. Like playing down to your competition, not taking them as serious. Like I would never. I couldn't go so far as to think that, because
I don't think
could I say that?
I think there's been some mechanical issues this year. I think,
and he's just been inconsistent regardless of the schedule.
Yeah, I think it's just. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason. Like, I don't think he's like coming in going like, "Oh, I got this," and then he gets lit up.
Yeah, I wouldn't play it. Yeah, so I brought it up not to like.
I honestly
make people think about it.
I hate that trope. I'm like one of those people that like really pushes against like, oh, big time players step up for big time teams. Like these are professionals,
right? And that's the thing. You got to be really careful betting into anything like that. Like, I'm not talking about like betting, but I'm just talking about like giving any credence to a split like that. It doesn't. It's funny when it's stark like that, and it does stand out, but I don't think it's actionable, especially for Zac Gallen. So I would start him in 15s, I think. But again, we do have a bunch of names. Let's keep going here, because I think a lot of these names are going to start to pass him. He's obviously king of the hill, being the first one to get talked about here. But we got 2 Oakland. I hadn't done Oakland in a while. But we have 2 Athletics, $1 in the jar there. We got 2 Athletics, Jacob Lopez and Jack Perkins, congressman or athletic. Both they got the Texas 2-step coming up. I like this whenever a few pitchers get this a year. At Texas, at Houston for both of them. Let's start with Lopez, who's put a little bit more on the board and I think has a bit more intrigue. And then we'll get to Jack Perkins, not a made-up player apparently. But what's up with Jacob Lopez, the interesting lefty they got from the Rays?
I mean, this is kind of an interesting 2-step because, again, it's the Houston and bad team split, but both of these are away from Sacramento, where Lopez and really every pitcher struggles. He's got a 3.62 home ERA. Meaning
they struggle in Sacramento. This is getting them in a better environment there.
Yes, correct. Except for, actually, now that I'm looking at it, Lopez has been better at home.
Really? Because almost every other Athletics pitcher.
ERA,
wow.
And a 5.01 road ERA. So I was about to say, like, hey, it's on the road. You get a Texas matchup.
He did eat that Toronto start in Toronto. It was 7 earned in an inning and 2/3. That's going to play a big weight.
That's going to be huge, yeah.
Like, he's got a tough one at Tampa Bay, too. And those both count. I'm not saying anything like that, but I'm just saying I don't think he inherently struggles on the road. He whooped Detroit, KC, in 6 and 7 inning outings respectively with no runs. So I like this for Lopez, and I think I'm actually going to have some interest in Perkins in deeper leagues, but I like Lopez in 12s and deeper, and maybe even some 10s.
Lopez reminds me of Jonathan Sanchez so much.
Oh man, that's a name right there. That's that playing with fire type streamer,
which is a guy who has really, really good stuff. And on any given outing can go out there and throw a no-hitter or strike out 12 or you just absolutely motor it. But in the same week, like the next game, he can just get absolutely shellacked, like we saw versus Toronto. So it's like a risk reward play. Like I kind of like this more in like a points league or a head-to-head situation where like you can take the gamble, and if it doesn't work out, you go, well, I'm just going to punt my ratios rest of the week or whatever. Yeah,
and you can push. It is easier to do that in a weekly thing, and then in a points league where the barriers for starting guys, I think, are more open because
whereas in like Roto, it just depends on where your categories are, right? Are you protecting ERA and WHIP? Because if you're doing that, probably don't want to do this one. But if you're looking for strikeouts,
if you're looking for strikeouts, I think both guys are on the board. Let's look at Jack Perkins here.
I think Perkins on the board in every format. I think
he's interesting. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to make the case that I think he might just be right-handed Jacob Lopez with the similar concerns. He only has an 8% walk rate in the majors. It's 9 innings. In the minors this year, it was an 11% mark. It's double digits a lot of the way. In fact, every one of his upper minor starts, which is commonly referred to for double and AAA, just the high minors, it's been a 10% at the bare minimum. In fact, that's only one time. Every other time it's been 11 or 12%. So the walks are probably still there with Jack Perkins, but so has been the nasty stuff. In fact, if you just look in his tiny sample at the stuff plus and location plus, you really get an idea of the volatility here. 108 stuff plus, 84 location plus. It's nasty, but neither he nor the batter knows where it's going. But you've got some interest in Jack Perkins, and so do I. So
if
give us some thoughts on him.
If Perkins has an opener, so
that'd be great.
So Perkins has not gone deeper than like I think 3 1/3. In any of his appearances because he's not yet started a game for the Athletics. So if he's going to be a traditional starter, I don't have any interest, right?
Because he just won't go long.
He won't go deep enough, and it's not like the A's give you enough win potential to begin with.
Exactly.
Like, your best case scenario is you come in the second or third inning and you get like the bulk roll here.
Yes.
I do like the stuff. The stuff is really, really good. The question is, will he be able to come in and control it? I don't know. He's done a decent job of that so far in his 9 2/3 innings in the majors.
Tiny sample.
That's a tiny sample, like you said. So, like, I think he's a guy to watch list in most leagues. And if we get news, like, the day of or a couple days in advance that Perkins is going to have an opener, then I would be like, okay, I'm going to go pick him up. But
because I will also say that Jack Perkins is not guaranteed. He was mentioned by Kotze as somebody who they're going to consider for their 5th spot. And the, sites that put up the starting pitcher grids, like RotoWire and Fangraphs on the roster resource side, are both putting him in there. So that might not even be the case. And again, I think it could be a piggyback situation. And that'd be great if Jack Perkins is on the back end of it, because then you do have a better chance at a win, even with an Athletics team that isn't super supportive. So he's nasty. He's interesting. But maybe look a little bit deeper there. Get as much info as you can before the bid about how this is going to look. And if it comes with any sort of opener, I would definitely up the bids on Jack Perkins. Whereas Lopez, I'm more of a traditional start. I like him in 12s and deeper. And again, I think he's on the board for 10s.
Yeah.
All right. Davis Daniel is plugged in right now for Atlanta on Monday. Again, not confirmed here, but they're running out of arms. So unless Maddox, Smoltz, or Glavine are coming back, I think Davis Daniel has a shot. Is there any intrigue with Davis Daniel?
NL only, really, really deep mixers, yes, because I think he is going to be in the rotation probably for the long haul, because I don't see the Braves as a team that goes out and buys a pitcher or two at the deadline. I think they either stand pat and kind of see if they can claw themselves back into it, or they actually just sell. Because, at this point, they're, below 500, below the Marlins. So there's no way they're buyers.
No,
they're either a team, like I said, that just stands pat and goes, okay, we're going to run this back with this team next year, or we're going to sell off some of our pieces,
which they should look into.
Yeah, they probably should.
At least one, right?
Ozuna.
Yeah, that should be obvious. But even one that's a little bit more foundational, look into
They already said they're not going to move Sale.
That's fine, especially with him being hurt. You don't want to take a discount.
There has been some talk, and I did mention this as what I thought they should do a while ago, which is Sean Murphy.
That's exactly who I had in mind when I was saying that. A million, jillion, zillion %. Why would you not? You've got the heir apparent there with Drake Baldwin. Yeah. He's still got time on his deal. He's still a good player. By the way, he's back.
If you guys trade move Iglesias.
Oh, that's another one that's kind of an obvious. I think Ozuna and Iglesias are the obvious.
That entire bullpen could be moved.
Yeah, anybody that's not nailed down. And in fact, I hope my Tigers are on the phone, y'all, because
they only have.
We need some swing and miss.
They only have one pitcher in their bullpen that isn't 30 or about to turn 30.
Yeah, if
Joey
West. If 5 of those guys were traded, it would be the right move. Just give people what they want. Give the Tigers Dylan Lee, and we'll take Rice out. We get any guys who can miss bats, dude. It's so bad right now that the ball just lives in play, and they're eating the negative of that right now. And just, oh God. Anyway, I haven't had much to complain about with the Tigers right now, so I don't want to start because it's been a great year. But if they don't fix the bullpen, we're not going to go anywhere. Tomoyuki Sugano, again, Davis Daniel, NL only, super, super deep. Could develop some more appeal, but right now I think it's more of a lottery ticket, wait and see sort of situation.
Looked good in his first start.
And he's been in the majors a bunch, up and down.
Yeah, he was with the Angels. He was
start with the White Sox, or is that somebody else? No, he's been Angels all the way.
Yeah, sorry, Angels. And then
Davis Martin was who I was thinking of. Sorry,
and he looked good in that first start up, but there's a lot. He's had a lot of kind of inconsistent mechanics. that will lead to some struggles. But these are actually two pretty decent matchups. The Giants were really struggling towards the end of the first half offensively, and the Rangers have been bad. So, like, I could see a world in a 15-teamer where, like, for instance, in my main event, right? Like, I think we were talked about this yesterday. Like, I spent a bunch of money, like, this
you're
week,
poor.
and I have like $83 to make it through to the end of the season. When typically I want like 75 heading into September. Now I'm gonna have like 50 heading into September.
That is rough.
Davis Daniel is a $1 pickup.
Absolutely.
So like
I do agree with that.
Like if you're in that kind of situation, like he might be a guy I spend $1 on, this week and hope to get a 2 start to kind of stream in.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. For your bargain hunters, little Davis Daniel scoop there. If you're trying to maybe chase some volume and take a shot. Like Atlanta stinks, but they can still get you a win if you put up a competent 5. So I don't know. I can't believe how bad they've been though. I kept waiting for them to come out of the hole like everyone else, and they just never did. Baltimore's got a pair going, and it's going to be Tomoyuki Sugano and Zach Eflin here. And they're kind of similar. And I was an Eflin guy, and he kind of got going there for a bit. He got hurt. Since he's been back, awful. Just like holy smokes, he was pretty good immediately.
Well, he's back on the IL. He's going to be activated for this game.
Oh yeah, so he's coming back from the IL. Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, 6/28 when he went out, and that was after 3 just nightmare starts. Now it's tough because I think as a healthy Zach Eflin is still a 15-team mainstay for me with 12-team viability. Do we jump back in? Let's start with him, and then we'll get to Sugano. Do we jump back in on Eflin this week? Would he be bargain hunt for you? Would you try to go like $3 on him and see if you could land an Eflin? Where are you at on him returning?
I think so, because if you're not going to start Eflin with these matchups, you've got at Cleveland and you've got home versus the Rockies.
Thank you for picking me up my slack. I didn't say the matchups.
Like, if you're not going to start him for these matchups, you're just never going to start him.
Right. And that goes the same for Sugano, by the way. If you do like him or if you are rostering him, this is a great setup here. Cleveland stinks. And of course, the Rockies on the road are always.
But I also think if either of these guys get bombed out versus these teams, like they're just done. You're just
absolutely. Eflin, I could see Eflin maybe having a 1 good, 1 bad off the IL and then still being okay going forward.
Especially if they decide not to let him go deep into the game.
Right, but if he looks bad, and mostly if the bombs are flying out again, and that was his big issue, is the homers. He's just become a home run machine, which is the margin that you run here with a soft tosser who lives in the zone. When they're off, it's home runsville, and he's had 4 games with multiple home runs allowed, including 4 and 2 threes for Zac Eflin. So these two teams don't really hit a bunch of homers though, Cleveland and Colorado. So it's a good shot there. And then Sugano. He's not that different. Again, home run machine, living in the zone, no strikeouts. So it's that same high wire act. But again, these matchups make sense. So I think I would start Sugano in the same spots I would start Eflin, which is to say mostly 15s and maybe some 12s in the right spot.
Yeah, I agree.
Richard Fitz, does he fits into your lineup at Philly?
Not this week.
At Philly and hosting the Dodgers. That's tough. Do you want to pick up and stash, though? Let's talk about him a little bit more long-term then, if you're not interested in Fitz this week. Is that a no everywhere, 15s included?
I think this is kind of a watch list in kind of watch this week, and kind of see like, hey, does he go deep enough in the game to qualify for when we finally saw him for the first time since really coming back, go deep enough into a game. But it was against Colorado. He
wasn't bad though.
No, he was good, but it was against Colorado.
Right.
So like, I want to see can he go 5.
Here's my contention though on your strategy there with Richard Fitz. If you like him, don't you have to pick him up?
You pick him
because someone's going to pick him up. Yeah, because you said watch. I'm just making the distinction there. You said watch list. I think if you like him, you still have to go for him this week, even if you don't have the intention of using the 2-step, because somebody will pick him up. It's a 2-start.
Yeah,
on a good team. Boston's really good right now. So even though it's at Philly and home to the Dodgers, it's scary. He will get picked up. So if you like Fitz, I think you got to jump.
I think this is a good time to like get him for $1 or $2, and then hope that like he doesn't get sent out of the rotation.
I think he's got a chance to stick, and
I do. I think he does too. But I also think I also see hey, they got Kyle Harrison, who they just traded for,
right
in AAA.
Can he take Buehler's spot? Why does Walker Buehler still have a spot? It's a serious question.
I mean, I think they should give up on Walker Buehler,
and surely they can pare down via I guess the rotation is not laden with trade options.
The problem is, what do you do with Walker Buehler? Because he doesn't have an option, so you can't send him down.
Well, and they're also not selling. I'm an idiot. I just said how
no,
good
they're buyers. They were the hottest team in baseball.
Right. Yeah.
I think there's potential that they just trade for someone at the deadline,
and then that cuts Fitz out. Mm-hmm. No, that should cut Buehler out though.
But Buehler's got the guaranteed contract, and
it doesn't matter. A contending team cannot continue to run Walker Buehler out.
I agree, but they continuously do it.
In fairness to them, he's been all right his last two. They won both games. He had a baseline quality start against the Rays, 5 innings, 3 runs, 2 of them.
Either way, Fitz is going to leave this rotation at some point. So
no. I don't think that's true. I think you're being far too definitive about that. I think right now, he's no worse than the third best pitcher in the rotation. Crochet, Giolito, Fitz.
Bayo's been better. Bayo's been way better as of late.
Bayo's been better as of late. I don't think that puts him above Fitz right away, though. I don't necessarily trust that Bayo is like this new guy. Like, he's good. I'll put them on a par. Because, Bayo still doesn't really generate strikeouts all that well. He had the 8 spike against the Yankees and then 10 spike against Colorado. Both great.
Since May 23rd, which is the last
bomb out.
10 appearances, right?
Yep.
Because he had one game where he didn't start because he technically finished the suspended game.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He has a 2.69 ERA in 60 and a third inning with 50 strikeouts.
With a 3.55 FIP, he's been fine. He's been good. I'm not necessarily denying that. I think Richard Fitz is equal to him in skill. I don't see why Fitz has to get. I think you're too set that Buehler has to stay. You cannot be a contending team and keep Buehler in. Yes, he's been into this point. We got to pull the plug on this. If they go get somebody, I don't know that Fitz has to come out. I don't think it'd be Bayo. I'm not making that case. They signed him. They believe in him. He's a dude for them. But I don't see why Fitz has to come out. I think you gotta be a little bit more aggressive on Fitz if you like him.
Board bet. Who has more starts rest of the season, Walker Buehler or Richard Fitz?
Fitz.
All right. Yeah.
On Boston only. Does not count if Buehler latches on somewhere else.
On Boston. I needed a W. Thanks. or board bets have not been kind to me this year.
Because I sucker you into the craziest bets.
Yeah, I know.
Brady Singer's going to Washington and hosting Tampa Bay. Here's just a theoretical. Would you rather a pitcher go to take Tampa Bay in Cincinnati or take Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay?
Wait, say that again.
Basically, would you rather this Singer Tampa Bay game be at home in Cincinnati or in Tampa Bay? Like, which would be better? Because I just noticed he's not hosting he is hosting Tampa Bay, and that's probably better than going there, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's in Cincinnati.
So. It is, yeah.
So then he goes to Washington as well. How do we feel about Brady Singer?
I mean, he's what does Nick call him, a cherry bomb? He's one of those guys who can put up a good start or just get you bombed out.
Yeah.
So
he's actually had a little bit of a Bayo streak since his last bomb out. If we're talking bomb out,
he's been much better as of late. Yeah.
For me, I call it dud anything 5 earned or more. You can't, you had a bad outing. Even if you go 9, that's a 5 ERA. So I'm like 5+ is a dud. 7 earned at Houston on May 10th for Brady Singer. Okay, tough outing. Since then, though, 11 outings with a 3.86 ERA and a 3.87.
He's actually been more of a Toby than he has been.
That's what I was going to suggest. That there hasn't been as much the cherry bomb idea is
he's
more
not volatile. He's actually just been boring.
Who's been the peak cherry bomb this year has been freaking Luzardo.
Yeah.
With his range of up and down that he's had, it's been crazy. So I think Singer's pretty much a mainstay in 15s right now with the run that he's been on.
I think 12s, it depends on your lineup in a 10 or a 12.
Yeah, and kind of like a team streamer type that you maybe still hold even beyond this. Okay, then we've got Tanner Bibee and Joey Cantillo for Cleveland. This is interesting. One was just added here that we need to talk about. Before we get to those two, since it's actually right at this point on the list, Cade Horton. Either I missed him earlier or he was added. But either way, he deserves to be on here. So let's talk Cade Horton. How you been feeling about this young righty for the Cubs? Now, where's he at on the pecking order of holding a rotation spot as the Cubs go out and purchase reinforcements?
And also expected to get Taillon back right before the trade deadline.
So that's like a trade in its own right. Yeah. And they should at least bring one person in, right? Even bringing Taillon back, you can't stand pat. You got to get some reinforcements. Yeah. So assuming that, is Horton looking over his shoulder? Is it more Colin Ray? Would they start pairing those two maybe?
I think it's got to be Horton, right? Horton's got options. Horton could play better out of the bullpen.
I was just about to say he would make a lot of sense as a 2 to 3 inning guy down the stretch, right?
And I mean, he hasn't been a guy who's been able to consistently go deep enough into games to win them, right?
I think he should, honestly, they should purposely just outright come out and be like, he's going to be transitioning into stopper August 1st because we acquired so-and-so and we got Jameson Taillon because we know that.
I think that probably is what is going to happen.
I hope they should. That makes way too much sense.
Doesn't Seth Lugo just make a ton of sense in Chicago?
Seth Lugo's like a super Colin Ray. He's like the best of what Colin Ray does, but more consistently. And that replaces Horton. Horton goes into the bullpen. So that's almost like another trade acquisition for the bullpen. They should also get another guy on top of that. So acquire a starter, a reliever, get Taillon back, Horton to the bullpen. And I think that's looking sweet. Cubs fans, let me know. Am I your GM now? Thank you. All right. So Cade Horton for this week, though, KC and at the White Sox. Great setup.
I think
Can we send him off with a great two-step here if he does, in fact, transition to the bullpen after this? Go ahead.
I think he's a 10-team play.
I think so, too.
I think he's one of these guys that you could get cheaply off the wire in a 10-team league where you go. So, if he's available in a 15 or a 12, I think he's a must. Throw that guy in your lineup and just hope he goes deep enough into the game to win it. But the stuff is pretty good, and he's actually done a decent job of commanding and controlling things. So I really like this play as a kind of an under the radar guy this week. I think Horton should be fired up in most formats. Yeah,
KC White Sox really drives this. Now I will say, in the 10s, it's not like a slam dunk because you still could get 9 total innings. One of them goes 4, one of them goes 5. 12 to 14 Ks with that. Hopefully you get a win in the 5-inning one just because of who he is, but you got to take a shot at this matchup set with KC and the White Sox. So back to Cleveland now. Tanner Bibee, Joey Cantillo, Baltimore, and at KC. So they also get the juice at the end there with the at KC. Bibee, I think, is back into set it and forget it for 15s. But what about 10s and 12s with Bibee? Because it's been an up and down year for him. He'll show his flashes of greatness, and then he'll be right back to 4 or 5 innings of madness. Where are you at on Bibee these days?
I kind of feel the same way about Bibee as I do about Gallen, which is, this is a guy that I've loved as I love Gallen.
American League Gallen right now. Yeah,
it's a great I was a big proponent of Bibee coming into as a rookie, and then last year, it just I just don't know that you can trust him. Every time I feel like he's starting to get things together, he kind of gets knocked around. Now his last couple times getting knocked around versus Houston and the Cubs. Those are good teams. You can't really.
But he used to be trustworthy. He used to be one of those guys. Get it, guy.
You knew you were going to get 6.
Yeah,
he wasn't going to walk anybody.
Bibee was a dude.
And over his last 3 starts, he's walked 7 batters. That's not something you're used to seeing with Bibee.
No.
I feel like I said, kind of similar to Gallen, which is in a 15, I don't know that you're going to find much off the wire that makes a lot of sense to start him over. So you're probably going to have to roll with it, especially because I'm not overly concerned about these matchups with, Baltimore and Kansas City. Baltimore is mediocre offensively over the last month. Kansas City's been bad offensively.
We love the Kansas City matchup. Yeah, that one's fire.
So I do kind of feel especially in a deeper league, if you're not going to use him here, why is he even on your roster? So I think you have to use him in a 15. And I think in a 10 and 12, it's really just dependent on what your roster looks like.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at with Bibee, which is, team streamer status at this point, and that's kind of a bummer. Joey Cantillo is probably also a team streamer, but it's weird how context works because I've got like an up arrow next to him, whereas I've got a down arrow next to Bibee because I like Joey Cantillo. I think he's interesting. I actually, if I had both and I can only start one, I would pick Cantillo this week.
I mean, if we're comping pitchers to other pitchers on this list, which we just did with Bibee and Gallen, I mean, isn't Cantillo Jacob Lopez? Absolutely. So it's a team that isn't very good necessarily, so you don't know where your win potential is necessarily going to be, but these are decent matchups, and there's strikeout upside.
And there's heavy downside.
Yeah, there's also ratio risk, right?
Right. So right. No, I think that's perfect comp.
Look at your standings and go like, hey, my ratios are pretty solid, but I need some strikeouts.
That's Cantillo and Lopez.
That's Cantillo and Lopez. But if you have any risk in those ratios, I would. And if you have not already, you should have been tracking this all year. Go and look at how many points you can gain in ERA and WHIP. Actually spreadsheet it out with the amount of innings you've got and what you can project to have left, and see where a bad start or a good start moves you, because these ratio categories move a lot more than people think they do.
And we're going to say it all second half, folks, because it needs. And we did it all last year. It's still a point that needs to be driven home. I still hear people say, the ratios are toast because I'm 0.24 behind, and it's like, yeah, it's a hurdle. I'm not saying it's going to be overnight, but you can chisel it. These WHIP and ERA categories can be moved all the way till the last week.
And I got to comment on something I saw. In the tweet was from a few days ago. I want to say it was from the 14th. But the Guilds, who is a really, really good Anthony Gialdi, who's a really, really good. Or no, wait, no, not Gialdi. Geller, thank you. Gialdi's a different guy.
Yes.
He tweeted something out if you're in 12th place in your league, just spend time with your family.
No, he's saying that to get softer.
And some people said that in the comments.
Because he is, and I think in a right moment he would admit it.
And I do wonder how much of it was a troll. It's some people don't want to play for pride, but I also think that you can make a lot of
play to cash.
Yeah,
you can play to cash too. Just try to finish third.
Don't give up on your rosters right now, unless you're completely in 15th place, completely buried. But
there are some dead teams out there.
At least spreadsheet it out. If you are I think you and I were chatting with Joe prior to recording yesterday. I talked about my main event team has gained, I think, 28 points.
Yeah.
In the last 6 weeks. Right, I was in dead last. I'm in 9th, right? So I'm not even in the mix, and I still have a lot of ground to gain to even try to cash in this league. But if I gain 26 points in 6 weeks, I got 10 weeks left to go.
Right,
there's still lots of room and time for me to gain ground. I'm not giving up, and people really should be figuring out hey, where can I gain the most points? Where yes, my main event team's got to get hot for me to even consider cashing in that league, but it can happen. And so don't buy into this BS that some people will say oh, you pay attention to football or go hang out with your family. No, they want you to stop paying attention so they can have.
They don't want people bidding, because they're going to start that stuff. And I'm not. This now stops the part of the Guilds conversation. I'm being, I think he might have been being tongue in cheek about that. The next thing I'm going to say, I'm not accusing him of, but there are a lot of competitive players out there that will start to shame and get mad at people from bottom of the standings who are putting big bids in August after being inactive for several weeks. You don't know people's lives. Okay. It could be that they didn't give a crap and now they're giving a crap. Sure. It could be that they had shit going on and they couldn't pay attention to fantasy baseball and now they can, and they're going to just make a good faith effort.
However, these are also the same people that complain about people giving up in non-huge money leagues, right?
Right.
Oh, your TGFBI or the Earth Leagues or Tout or Labor, they're not real leagues because people stop paying attention. But then they're telling people, oh, you should stop paying attention.
Advocating, yeah.
Yeah, it's such disingenuous behavior.
I agree. It's but make it make sense as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But no, just keep playing, folks. And again, there are some dead teams out there. I will not deny. Some people get hit by these crazy injury bugs that you couldn't believe that they would get, the 9 best players all injured on their team or something like that. So I understand that. But teams that are like fully healthy and you feel like it's not just a dog crap team, but you're just not quite where you need to be, look at the standings, start to make some decisions. Now, even if you're in the main event, you can punt at this point because you're not going to get the overall if you're in like 600th place overall, but you can still cash in your league. You can even still win your league. So just start to change your scope. Just don't give up. Don't pay. I mean, for me, it's like, don't pay this entry fee and then be like, it's not good in July, so I can quit. Ain't no way, man. And I'm going all the way to the finish line. Anyway, diatribe over. Let's get back to these starting pitchers here. We're on Cantillo more than Bibee. We like both in 15s, both probably in 12s. And the Cantillo, I might chase the Ks in 10s, but I'm an idiot for Cantillo, so I want to be clear on that. Austin Gomber, we can skip. It's Austin Gomber, St. Louis, and at Baltimore. Casey Mize at Pittsburgh, home to Toronto. Now, he gets his juice on the front end here, and I do think it matters with somebody like Casey Mize and the Tigers because they're always doing crap. So there's I don't want to say like 50% chance. I would put it at, well, what's the normal chance that somebody won't make a two-step in a given week? Like, if it's like 12%, if that's like the baseline, I'm just making something up. If it's 12% for a baseline, Mize is this 30% because of the way AJ Hinch messes with pitching. But we get the sweet end out front with at Pittsburgh. How do you feel about Mize right now and an at Pittsburgh home to Toronto two-step?
Honestly, I think he's a must start in every format.
You're still there with him?
Yeah.
Okay. That's basically what I was checking in on because he struggled a little bit into the All-Star break. He was an All-Star.
It was one game against a Seattle team that's been hot at times.
That's been awesome, right? And if you watch that game, which I didn't even think he was like terrible.
No, it was a 556 BABIP.
There you go.
Yeah,
they were piecing him up a bit, but they were also getting a few things to go through. And he was coming off of a gem at Cleveland, which again is a team that he should gem against. But yeah, I'm pretty firm on Mize. I just want to make sure that you're still there and I wasn't being too homer with him.
No, you're good.
All right. So Casey Mize must start everywhere. Again, you might even lose a two-step. Who cares? The at Pittsburgh is good enough to start him everywhere. Colton Gordon, one of the young lefties, along with Brandon Walter. Don't confuse them. They're both like soft-tossing young lefties of some intrigue on Houston. They're very similar, but they are different. Colton Gordon at Arizona, which is very tough, and home to the Athletics. Can we get there with him? Is this a wins chase? What's your read on Colton Gordon?
I think this is a wins chase, and it's not necessarily even that good of one. I mean, 2 of his last 3 starts, he didn't even go 5. I like that you said, like, don't confuse him and Brandon Walter because I think Walter's better.
I do too. And so I was like, they're 2 young lefties that are soft tossing, but they're not the same. Walter to me is a good click better.
He's just got a more complete arsenal. I think he's a more polished. Walter is a more polished pitcher. Gordon is a guy, like I said, like if I was wins chasing right now because Houston is good, I might roll this out for that Athletics one, but the at Arizona one kind of scares me a little bit.
It scares me way too much to even
honestly,
I
think it's 15 team
even
only.
Consider it. Yeah, 15 team like desperate wins where you're like, I'll take the bludgeoning because I'm already double last in the ratios and try to spike a win here with Colton Gordon because I am very nervous about that. So yeah, that's where I'm at with him. Arizona just scares me with anybody. Tyler Anderson and Kyle Hendricks, the righty-lefty versions of each other in terms of just, soft-tossing finesse innings eaters. They're both going to the Mets and hosting Seattle. Do you like either? If so, who and where?
I mean, I don't want to start either. But
is there a scenario where you would realistically, that isn't the most like niche AL West only, is there any viability in 15s? Are you putting them on your waterfall this week? Which just means, if you've heard that term in the fantasy community, it just means the deeper part of your list of pickups.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Because
why?
Tyler
Anderson continues to make things work weirdly.
Yeah.
But
can you trust it week to week? That's the tough part.
So little upside, in it, and just a ton of downside.
He's 2-6, so you're never getting the win.
Yeah, a 502 xFIP. You're going up against 2 good teams.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Yeah,
I think you're desperate. I can't. And let's go to what we said earlier about points leagues where we have more open thresholds. I can't even get there with them in those formats. No. Okay, then let's move on. Eury Pérez, I think he's starting to dial in again and getting people excited now. I think you're going to be the white blanket here that maybe needs to be
Yes.
out there on both not as much Alcantara. People are finally learning from him, but look at Alcantara. The same thing could happen to Perez. I know he's awesome, and he's a better, I think, like pitch for pitch, stuff for stuff, better than Alcantara. I still worry about the volatility of a TJ returner. That said, he's off of 3 gems, San Diego and at Milwaukee. Where are you at on Eury Pérez right now? So you're not setting it and forgetting it?
I think if you have him rostered, you're setting and forgetting it.
Okay.
I think this is one of those situations that I wouldn't take the plunge because of the volatility. But if you did take the plunge, in spite of
if you're in, don't cop out now.
You're pot committed at this point,
right? Especially on 3 gems. Again, he's coming off of 3 absolute gems, so we're not even talking about Perez in a downswing right now.
I mean, ultimately, you're just putting him in every time out.
I think so too.
Until he blows up, and then and then you can kind of push him back into a team streamer kind of situation. But at this point, I think you're going, hey, screw you, Justin Mason. I'm gonna say that Eury is different than every other Tommy John returnee guy. And you know what? I hope you're right. I
hope you're right. Yeah, exactly.
I love Eury. Like, no one was higher on Eury Pérez when he came up from the minors than I was. Like, I mean,
and he's and
awesome. He won me a crap ton of money. I was
because you went big on
plus,
him. Yeah.
I still remember the $333 bids I put in on him that helped me win multiple leagues, including a couple high stakes leagues. So like, I'm a huge Eury guy. I hope I'm wrong. I've bet with my process, and like we talked about yesterday, like I still think the process is right. If the results turn out to make me look a little foolish, I'm fine with that, because I think
like
over time will be correct. But yeah, I want Eury to be great. I want him.
Eury's still going to be an exception, right? Yeah. And he'll be an exception that maybe people lean on and maybe wrongly. Again, we'll see how the second half goes. It's 7 starts, but with these 3 gems now, his composite numbers look great.
Yeah,
3.18 ERA, 0.91 WHIP. Like you said, if you brought him, you're not parsing the starts. You're taking all the starts you can get, and you're hoping that.
My only question long term for Eury is, like, do the Marlins, like, at some point, like maybe September, go, okay, you're done. We're shutting you down early? Or
I could absolutely see that, like, but that's a hill
at that point. You worry about that when you get there. Like, I'm not trading for Eury Pérez right now, I guess.
Absolutely not. No.
I'm also not trading him away.
No, ride it. But I'm for me, somebody who didn't buy in, I'm going to take that L if he happens to be dominant. I'm not going to trade for him, because then, like you said, the innings can get sketchy. But right now, they're treating him like a legit starter. He is being a legit badass starter. All systems go. Yeah. I know. Again, I hope he's the unicorn where he comes back from TJ and he's dominant for 100 innings off.
He will be in my top 20 starters, I'm sure.
Easy. Yeah. Easy. Mitch Keller, Detroit and Arizona. Pretty difficult 2-step. Both are at home. Got to give him a little bit of flowers, because I was late on him this year, just based on previous years. So I told some of my commenters, in the SP chart, they're giving him some love and credit to them. They were right. But I was like, nah, I'm not buying in yet. I was ranking him low. But then there was the nail in the coffin of Paul being dead wrong here was I put him last on the board that had a Colorado pitcher. That's all you need to know. It doesn't matter who it was. I put Mitch Keller last on a board, and that was wrong. It was against the Mets. I was very worried about him. Not only was he not last when I did it, I was wrong process, but then he went out and had a gem, 5 1/3, 1 run, 3 more gems since then. He's rolling right now. Is Mitch Keller in set it and forget it status in 15s and 12s?
I don't know if he set it and forget it, because like there's still like not a ton of upside necessarily in Mitch Keller. It's low win potential. It's fairly
low Ks
too. Low strikeouts. And like when he's home, I think he's probably set it and forget it.
So you like the 2-step here? Then they're both at home, even though they're tough matchups.
I think you do. I think you just say, I'm gonna roll with it here.
Yeah.
I mean, so far this year, like it's actually been better on the road. That's so weird.
Of course. Again, but you still love
it's because of that one start at the beginning of the season where he got absolutely destroyed by the Yankees at home.
Oh yeah. Then when they pasted him, he walked like.
And then he had another bad outing at the beginning of June at home. Like it's those two. Like if you take those 2 starts out, like he's been phenomenal at home. He's just been phenomenal.
We're not too worried about Keller then.
So like
especially
he's like the antithesis of Jacob Lopez, right? Like if you need wins and strikeouts, you're going to go a different direction. But if you need ratio help, Mitch Keller is the guy to go for. And that's weird to say.
It is weird to say, because that was the one thing I was always hammering on too when I was kind of going against the grain of my comments.
It's like, you're going to get volume and strikeouts, but you're not going to get anything else. And now he's just completely reversed himself.
Because he used to bludgeon your whip, and now this year it's at 114 for Mitch Keller, which is pretty good. But again, he did sacrifice the Ks, so it's a different profile, but it's been a good one, and I'm glad to see him succeeding. San Diego's going to get 2 guys going. Randy Vásquez, Stephen Kolek. They're going to Miami and St. Louis. We love them going to Miami. By the way, how do you react to a hot streak? They're blazing hot right now. Miami is, no doubt about it, playing some of their best ball. They're one of those teams, there's always a few teams at the break where it's like, no, we don't want to stop playing right now. We're playing our best baseball. A week is going to interrupt us. Do you adjust at all, or do you still play the long game of like, Miami sucks, I'm going to run damn near anybody against them?
I think it is dependent on the team. I think Miami is one of these scenarios where you look at that roster and you go, this team sucks.
They got a couple guys that scare me, but like, that's it. Augustin Ramirez, Kyle Stowers, I see y'all, but I'm not running from this line. But what about with these two?
Sanchez,
I like Sanchez too. Otto Lopez, pretty good. I think we've nailed the 4 that are pretty good there. Liam Hicks been an interesting Rule 5. Yeah. But now these are 2 guys that you're not normally starting though. So even if you aren't giving Miami full credit, I still don't think Randy Vásquez nor Stephen Kolek is like a must-start type guy, especially with at St. Louis looming, which is like a medium matchup. It's a good venue, but they're an okay team. They've been hot at times. They're not hot right now offensively. So
I'll disagree a little bit on Kolek here, because like Kolek before that last start had a 3.73 ERA and was actually he just got his head caved in right before they sent him down.
Right. He took a bad one against Texas, and then they shipped him for the break, which was normal procedure. Right?
Well, it was a little bit before I think it was a little bit before the break.
Oh, okay.
Because his last start was, I think, July 2nd, if I'm remembering correctly. Okay. So, but either way, like, I think he's the guy that I would take the gamble on here. Vásquez, I don't trust at all. Like,
no, he's terrifying.
Yeah, he like, I know there was like a stretch where Randy Vásquez was like running like super, super hot, but
he still has a great, like a good ERA, 3.80, but it's a 5.32 FIP.
It's a 5.92 xFIP.
That tells you, by the way, folks, that the skills, and I know most people listening know this, tells you the skills are horrible. He cannot strike anybody out, Vásquez.
Oh, he is like a 90% zone contact. Like, it's
crazy work.
Like he allows, and like, like the comp for that is like a Miles Mikolas type, right?
Yeah.
When things are going good and your defense is playing well behind you and you're inducing a lot of weak contact, you can run good for a while, but like the tax man always comes due on that.
Yep.
Right? Like you always have to pay that, because there are too many holes in the infield and eventually you're going to get crushed.
Especially with this strikeout, right? Like Miles Mikolas is listening to this because he's an avid listener, always has been. And he's like, no, I could strike out more than that. 4.8 for Vásquez, 12% K rate.
It's 6% swing and strike rate. Like it's his walks per 9 and K per 9 are almost identical.
Oh my goodness. So nowhere near him, but Kolek a little bit more interesting for 15s. What about 12s with Kolek?
No, I don't. I mean,
15s only, I think.
Well, here's the thing: like, you could easy dub versus Miami more than likely.
True.
It's the at St. Louis one that kind of scares me a little bit. But
the depth of names this week, I think, puts them a bit lower in 12s for Stephen Kolek.
I think that's fair.
Maybe there's a world if it's a
like
deeper
if
12.
we start doing like would you rather's with guys we already talked about. I think I'm taking Gallen, Eflin, and Bibee over Kolek.
Yes. I think I'm taking
that kind of puts him out of a 12.
Yeah, that pushes him.
If those kind of names are out there, then
what about Landen Roupp? Your boy is settling. Last 2 starts have been really good. In fact, the last one was against the Dodgers, and it was fantastic. I took the plunge on Roupp in the difficult 2-step. It was the Philly Dodgers. Who's getting that we have this week? We just said it's Richard Fitz.
Yeah, Fitz. Yeah.
I think they're kind of similar pitchers, by the way. And so I took the plunge with Roupp. It wasn't like some great gut call. I'm not back patting. There was a little bit of like, I'm backed into a corner. My other options were not great, but I'm like, hold my nose, let's go for it. And he delivered big, including an 8 strikeout, 6 inning 2 runs, one of them earned performance, 1 walk against the Dodgers. Where you at on Roupp? Talk to us. He has at Atlanta and home to the Mets.
Yeah, I mean,
difficult run.
When Roupp's control is good, Roupp is good.
Yes.
He's got a full arsenal. He's got good stuff. And I think there is more room for growth too, because we have to remember, like, he was kind of bounced between being a starter and a reliever, prior to this, even a little bit in the minor leagues. He wasn't just a straight starter. So he's still kind of learning how to be a starter, even though he's currently 26, going to be 27 years old. Like, I think he's still a little raw, and that's only going to get better with time. I really like Roupp as a pitcher. I think this is a guy that is going to be strong for the Giants, as long as they don't go out and trade for someone. My only fear, and I don't think they will, I think if they trade for someone at the deadline, it's going to be a hitter. It's going to be a second baseman. So I think that Roupp is probably in this rotation for the long haul. And for this week, yeah, I think I'm starting him. You got that Atlanta start for Roupp at the beginning of the week, which is pretty tantalizing because Atlanta's been so bad offensively. And while the Mets has been good on the back half, that one's at home. So I think I'm here for Roupp to start this week.
Yeah, I think I am too. If I took the super dangerous one, I'm going to take this one that's a bit easier on me at Atlanta and home to the Mets. You nailed it, of course. If the control's in order, Roupp is an absolute stud. He can even survive sometimes when it's a little shaky, but obviously that breeds the volatility that we've seen with him. But I like where he's going right now. He's rolling. Give him to me in 15s, 12s, and maybe some 10s. Matthew Liberatore has to go to Colorado, which is tough. And then he hosts San Diego. He's pumpkined a little bit, right? We talked about him early season. He really found a groove. He was going really well. The composite numbers are at 4.13 ERA and a 1.25 WHIP now, which is pretty middling. It's still like 15-team viable, but that's probably about it. He's coming off of a dreadful final start before the break, 6 runs on 9 hits and 3 innings against the Braves. Matthew Liberatore, any love in 15s anymore? Is he a team streamer? Is he a regular streamer? Is he anything?
Well, the really interesting thing is it's all about velocity of Liberatore. Earlier in the season, he was throwing 95, 96. And then all of a sudden, around the middle of May, it dropped down to 93, 94. And that's a big deal for him.
Big dip.
Because all of his secondary pitches play off of that added velocity that we're seeing from him. And in his last start, he was 93.8 on average. So maybe the rest does him some good, but you're having to go to Colorado where you can get BABIP to death. And you've got he's got a second start versus San Diego, who hasn't been good offensively, but like we expect them to be better, right? So I think this is like a 15-team Hail Mary type situation where you go, okay, I'm gonna see if I can get a W in Colorado and see if he can kind of survive versus San Diego. But
yeah,
I don't think that I would do it unless I was really desperate.
Yeah, I think that's where you're at with Matthew Liberatore right now. And again, big super fan here. This is why I told you guys not to jump on board with me. He's so scary. But yeah, I think team streamer sort of vibe, and you maybe Hail Mary it here. I forget to mention that Erick Fedde is also going, but he's not considerable anywhere. No. Shane Baz is more in like the Casey Mize group of like, I just want to see like where you're at with him right now. Is he a set it and forget? He gets the White Sox in that Cincinnati. You're starting him at 15s all the time for sure. 10s and 12s is where I'm more questioning right now with Baz. Is he somebody that you can really just turn loose and you take the ups, take the downs so that you don't leave an 11 strikeout outing on your bench or something? Or are you still curating his starts in those shallower formats?
I mean, here's the thing. So he has been amazing on the road, and Baz has been terrible in Tampa.
He's been one of the ones that have fit the trend perfectly.
Yeah. He's got a 5.47 home ERA and a 2.91 road ERA.
Oh my God.
He's got 1 home start and 1 road start this week, but the home starts versus the White Sox. So it's like, I think you got to roll with this one.
You got it.
Like, and just, because it's like, oh, he's going to Cincinnati. It's usually a bad spot, but not considering where he's been pitching.
Right. It's the same, like I was saying with the Singer thing. Like, where would you rather have this? And I think Cincinnati is where I would rather have
for Tampa Bay to be good, because I want to see a playoff game in that stadium.
Oh yeah, no, that'd be fantastic. Are you kidding me? Just some like, remember the Dodgers Astros World Series that was like 17-16 or whatever that crazy score was. That
Yeah.
was magic. Those games every once in a while are fun. I don't want baseball to always be that, but an occasional game like that in Tampa Bay's park would definitely breed one.
If the A's had been able to stay good because they were hot at the beginning of the season,
yeah.
Could you imagine a playoff series?
A series
where you had to go from Sacramento to Tampa Bay?
That would be amazing, dude. That would be hilarious. Oh my God, I'd feel so bad for the pitchers. It'd just be an absolute nightmare. Let's go on to Toronto. They've got a couple guys going. Kevin Gausman, Max Scherzer. Again, those guys in 15s that I'm not really asking about because you've got them, you've invested in them. You don't really have a choice. Like
there's just not a lot of options better on
that have the upside of that they do. So
Yeah.
this is more another 10 and 12 discussion with these two. If it's a set it and forget it, or are they more team streamers? Let's start with Gausman. 4.19 ERA, 1.16 WHIP on the year. That WHIP does kind of make him pretty close to a set it and forget it for me, but I'm curious where you're at with Gausman.
Yeah, I mean, I have him kind of in my middle tier, which is like it kind of really depends on your options, especially when you've got two tough matchups with the Yankees coming to town and then going.
I forgot to mention the matchups again. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you for picking up the slack.
If it was better matchups, I'd say it's set it and forget it. With these matchups, I'm very tentative, and like I've started writing my 2-start piece for the week. And I already did the Gausman part, and I said like I think he's better suited for your bench. Like he's not a guy I'm dropping in a 10 or a 12, but
no.
There's too many options this week to say like I feel comfortable putting him against the Yankees and the Tigers.
That's exactly it too. The depth of options here really hurts somebody like Kevin Gausman because he still scares me. Now, I will say wins chasers, even with these two tough matchups, I'm not saying you're guaranteed wins because it's the Yankees and the Tigers, but I could see wins chasers going for him over, somebody like Jacob Lopez, who we discussed earlier. What about Scherzer? He's been up and down this year. I mean, he barely pitched. He has five starts.
Yeah.
But the injuries have hurt him, of course. Where does he sit? Is he higher than Gausman for you? Lower? Same boat?
I don't know if he's started doing it already, but there was I saw a video saying that he was going to have the pitch com thing where he gets to call the pitches.
Oh, okay.
When he's pitching, he's going to switch with the catcher, and so
he wants to press the button so that they hear the pitch.
Yeah, so the catcher's gonna hear the pitch.
That is so Scherzer, and frankly,
right?
I love it.
And part of the reason that he said he was going to do it was because he wanted to pitch faster.
That's awesome.
Right, like he's like one of the few pitchers who wants to pitch as quickly as possible.
He's like the pitch clock is the greatest thing ever. It's just too slow.
Yeah, it's too slow.
Cut it in half.
I think, again, this is very similar to Gausman, where I think normally I would say, he's probably close to a set it or forget it, especially with how hot Toronto has been.
Right.
As of late, I mean, Toronto quietly is the team winning that division right now.
I know, dude. They're another team and that's with Boston getting as hot as they did. It was two teams in the same division getting blazing hot. Absolutely bonkers.
You're going to see 3 playoff teams out of the East this year, which is really, really cool to see. But these matchups are terrifying, and Scherzer is not the dominant pitcher that he was, especially with the command. His command has not been very good. His control has been okay. He's finding the zone, but the command has not been very, very good. He's almost 2 homers per 9 so far. And now part of that was he gave up 2 home runs in Sacramento. So you can kind of forgive that a little bit. But when you're going up against 2 stacked lineups like Detroit and New York, I tend to want to say I'm just going to keep him on my bench this week, except for in 15-team leagues where I don't have a better option. Yeah,
15's for both. 12 maybe for sure is over Gauze. I'm a little bit higher
I don't
on
even think I would.
But yeah, they're just such scary matchups. Where did I put Gauze? Okay, I was looking at my rankings there. By the way, if you're listening to this, now the rankings will be out. I know I said that in yesterday's pod and they weren't. I did put a little preview out, just the top 75, but I'm going to put the full thing out after this. So yeah, they're scary, but at least hold them. I would not cut Scherzer or Gausman anywhere. You got to have them on the bench at the very least. Jake Irvin, he just hasn't been in a groove this year, but he gets Cincinnati and at Minnesota. You seeing anything for swerving Jake Irvin?
No,
yeah, it's tough because there's no win potential. There's no strikeout
upside.
Yeah. What are you getting? He's one of those guys that he could have a dominant week, and you look back and say, "Why didn't I go for Jake Irvin?" it's not, and that's where the process results thing comes in, because the process is he's not going to have a good one. He's a major league pitcher. He's been good. He can spike a good two-step, but it's not the expectation. And again, the upside is just nil with swerving Jake Irvin. So yeah, don't do it. Be careful. All right, so give me a few favorites here. Put Mize off to the side because we said that he's pretty much must start everywhere. Give me a few of your favorites that you're really honing in on.
Yeah, you said Mize for sure. I mean, as much as I've talked crap, I guess Eury Pérez has got to be.
He's up there, right?
Shane Baz, is
Baz and Perez.
Then
Lopez we liked for the strikeouts. Yeah. Singer we thought was pretty good.
Mitch Keller.
I liked Fitz a little bit more. Like we had reasons, obviously. We just went through all of them. But yeah, as far as the guys I'm really chasing, that like if they were anywhere, like Perez and Baz aren't available in any 15s, probably not available in many 12s, but in 10s, I think you could see the occasional spike. Horton. Or not Perez. Yeah, Horton was somebody we like. Horton will be on some 10-team wires, 100%, probably even some 12s. He's one to go get just because the upside is rich, even though the downside is still severe. Yeah, and then I keep coming back to Lopez because I do really like him, and I think he could be fun. And Jack Perkins, if you get information, like stay tuned on his news. We want him to get an opener very badly, and then I like him in 15s and I think 12s because then you could even get comfortable, not expecting, but maybe thinking that you could get a win if he gets an opener. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I'll let you get to writing your two-step article, and we'll head out for the weekend. Are you and Jason getting together on Sunday?
We should be.
Fantastic.
As far as I know, we should be recording every Sunday for the rest of the year. So
that's excellent. Yeah. I think you did mention that, and I keep asking you, and I'm probably gonna, but yes, excellent.
Well, we were supposed to record this week, but he had something that came up that he had to go handle, and I just got lazy and forgot to book a guest. So.
No problem at all. We took the break. We enjoyed it. Back on the grind. Games start here. I mean, I guess they already have probably those early ones. How do you feel about that, by the way? These new start times are kind of ingrained where it's like 5:40 here, 3:40 there. A couple teams kind of consistently start there. Now that like we've had it for a few years, do you like the kind of staggered little tiers of starts at the beginning there? Because we got a few games that have already started, and now another wave is kicking up.
Honestly, I wish they would stagger them more. Like I wish we had day baseball games every day.
Every day, I do too.
I'm obviously lucky enough to
we live, but a huge contingent of people do, right?
Yeah, and so like for me, like I used to hate the like early morning baseball games on the West Coast, that were like noon starts or whatever, or 11 a.m. starts on the East Coast, because like, well, I'm not even awake most of the time, like right. I work till 8 o'clock in the morning. I was going to bed like. I want night
when the game was firing up.
But now, like I work a 9 to 5, and like even when I'm working for my office, like today, like I just put it on my second screen in my office.
We had the Cubs game today.
And so like I kind of wish it was like the NFL where it's like, hey, here are your 3 designated start times.
Yep.
You get the the noon, East Coast, the 3 p.m. East Coast, and then
that's actually Central time. It's 1 and 4. I grew up with it. That's all.
But I'm saying that's what they should do for baseball. Like,
no, I totally agree. I do wish we had a little bit more. You could set your watch to it type of stuff. And I do wish. I know we get like Wednesday and Thursday day games, and then the only time we get Friday ones is if they're makeup games or Cubs at home. That's it. Nobody else plays on Friday afternoon.
But like Thursday, like I don't know if you've looked at the schedule this week. We've got like I think 4 games on Thursday.
Yes, it's very empty. That's always weird, and we get a few of those a year where it's like. Barren, dude. And I'm just like, okay, I guess they need another quick off day here after the break. But
I mean, it's like, I know it's a getaway day and stuff like that, but like, give me something more than that. I mean, legit, it's 1, 2, 3. Yeah,
it's like 4 or 5 games.
It's I think 3 games. 1.
Wait, I'm counting 2, 4,
2, 3 games
6,
on Thursday.
8, 10. I'm counting 10 pitchers.
Oh, no, sorry. That's next Thursday. I was looking at actually. The 31st. So 31st has 3, and then
okay, that's probably for the deadline though. That's actually smart.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, it probably is.
That actually makes a little bit more. I know we like Hug Watch as fans and analysts because it's fun, to see that, but that is not an ideal situation for teams and players in any way, shape, or form to be like traded mid-game or something. So I understand that one. All right. Well, have a great weekend. You and Jason on Sunday, you and I back early next week talking something. I'm going to come up with a cool topic about like first half, second half stuff. So have a good one, Jay.
Take it easy.